stop talking about Biafra. At this point, people are more awake now. People are more awake now. The persecution still continues. Here you get. And we know that the persecution of the Igbos in Nigeria is not done to them without the consent of the political class, the Igbo political class. They are the most scared. They are the most scared about this IPOB thing. And that is why he said, those of them who wanted to keep him in their detention, they are doing so because him being there gives them some leverage. They are profiting from it. They are gaining from it. And in order to justify why he has to remain there, they are sponsoring different kind of terror group in Eastern Nigeria. And their media is always ready to tag anything happening in Eastern Nigeria, IPOB. Even when IPOB comes out to say, no, we have nothing to do with this, we will not do this, blah, blah, blah. No, their media will never publish that. Their media in Nigeria will continue to label everything going on in Eastern Nigeria as IPOB this, IPOB that. But when it goes to their courts, they do not have the chance, or they do not have the, the temerity to present the evidence as, okay, IPOB is doing this, and now Nnamdi Kanu ordered them to do it. No way. So the reason why they are keeping him is because they just want him to walk away. And that's how stupid they have become. Him walking away is never going to stop the agitation for Biafra. It is not. It's actually making it even more stronger if you kind of pay attention. So, Muritala Nyako has been told to recuse herself. Recuse yourself from this case. You are biased. You are working for the establishment, and there will never be any real justice or any trial. They want him to come and stand trial. Nnamdi Kanu is telling them that you do not have any case against me, and I'm not going to stand any trial. Nyako said if Nnamdi Kanu is not ready to put up any defense, then she is going to go ahead and then convict him. He said, yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm not going to put up any defense. Because all of this nonsense you put together in your book, I mean, as your allegations, right? The person that put the whole thing together, where is he today? Where is Bokwari? Where is Malamu? Where are the others? Where is Abba Kyari? Where are they? Everything will still fall flat on his face. Oyendu.
Oyendu, I call. O Mary, O Nindizu, O Niria, Abakare, Mama Daora, Unapuri Mary Nandi, Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri Mary Nandi, Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri Mary Nandi. Nande bo onyedu aimo o meri woni nizu mbiroya abakare mamanda ora unapuri meri nande win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri meri nande win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri meri nande win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri meri nande win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri meri nande win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Unapuri meri nande.
Thank you. So we are going to go to another development. And this time around it is a recent interview granted by Dangote, still talking about a subsidy removal in Nigeria. Despite the fact that Tifnumbu continued to tell all of you that he's removed the subsidy, which he hasn't per se, rather they are paying more. Dangote himself has come out to kind of tell us now that, listen guys, the NNPCL guys are not honest. They are dishonest guys. Number one, They are paying subsidy that is just a makeup number. They have no idea how much oil or fuel consumption you do actually consume in Nigeria. But before I get to that, there is an image of Nnamdi Kanu that I want you to have right there in your head, including those of you that they have been raised to hate the Igbos or to hate him, forgetting the fact that those who want you to hate them, they probably will never want you to see this. 11 years ago.
My name is Nnamdi Kanu, and the reason why we're here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children, and men for that matter, all over Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not happy, we are not pleased with what is happening, and that is why we're here today. As you can see, there are a lot of Nigerians who are protesting about the killing of families, people who are determined to tear the country apart violently, and it is not something that we support. It is not something that we would like to see continue, and we are here today to send a clear message to the Nigerian government through the High Commissioner that what is happening in the country is unacceptable, and we cannot accept it. If that continues, it will lead to the violent disintegration of the country. There will be no more Nigeria for anyone to go to. There will be no Nigeria for anyone to refer to. In fact, what is happening in Somalia today will be like a tea party. So we cannot allow this nonsense to continue. Something has to be done. And the consequences of the actions of terrorism in Nigeria must be driven home to the people, so that even the terrorists themselves will be able to understand that there is no mileage in where they're going. The only thing they can accomplish is the breakup of Nigeria. If they think that they can cower people, if they think they can force people to be coerced into a religion which is not theirs, then they are clearly mistaken. We are asking for peace. We are asking for people to get together. We are asking for everybody who loves Nigeria, who is associated with that country, to please prevail upon terrorism in Nigeria so we can bring it to an end. That is why a multitude of Nigerians are gathered here today. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the international community for peace. But one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
He did one. And even if you want to hate him, and there's nothing anybody can say to you that will make you change your mind, but just so you know, the people that told you to hate him, they are also the same people who have failed to protect their women, children, elderly, young, old in Nigeria today. Today, the northern Nigeria has become the old shadow of itself, where their people are now living in the dens of kidnappers, where your women and children are being raped and sold as sex slaves by different terror groups that have now emerged from that part of Nigeria. To those of you from the southern part of Nigeria who never for once believed that terrorism will actually be your lot, that you end up selling your properties to pay ransom to the Fulanis from the Sahel, from Futagalon, Abi Futajalon, Futasoro, Abi Futasadness. Today, they are telling us to choose between our land and our lives. The man they told you to hate, he warned us. Those who told you to hate him, they couldn't protect us. Poverty is now the order of the day. Look at what they have done to all of us now. And they are not stopping. They are not slowing down until they kill all of us. So if your own is to jump around and say, Nnamdi Kanu will rot in jail, it looks more better than some of you who are walking about like a walking corpses, the walking dead. In Nigeria today, that you could barely feed yourselves, that you could barely take care of your own family. A lot of you are just walking, walking corpses, waiting to be slaughtered. Some of you are just waiting as well, okay, to be killed by either the terrorists, the ones in uniform, and the ones not in uniform. So those who told you to hate on them or hate on Nnamdi Kanu, it is no longer a flex. If you come on social media and say he's going to rot in jail, you are free, Abi. Are you actually free? Are you? Are you safe? Nnamdi Kanu is safe. He doesn't have to be worried of getting kidnapped. He won't have to pay any ransom. He actually is a big fish in the pond or the ocean of your criminal leaders. His lawyers have applied severally to the Nigerian court that Nnamdi Kanu should be transferred to the proper prison, where it will be accorded all of the rights of somebody in prison, which is to see his doctors, see his family, receive visitors, read his own, read books, and indeed practice his religion and all of that. Yeah, but because they said every time they bring Nnamdi Kanu out from the DSS detention, they said it cost Nigeria 500 million naira. Yes, you heard me right. It cost Nigeria 500 million naira to bring Nnamdi Kanu out to court. How much do you think your life is worth? Your life is worth nothing to these guys. They can snap it anytime. But yet, the man you think, you can masturbate in public. You can gloat in public. He will die in prison. They leave him there. Let him die in prison. You are a prisoner without a prison wall. You are living a life of a prisoner in your own supposed country. So it is not a flex. To those of you nuisance, that possibly still living in that past. You are still living in that past, right? It is not a flex, all right? To say, Nnamdi Kanu, let him die there. I thought I should add that before we go to the next thing. The people, the people that have kept you in bondage, you are buying a liter of petroleum for 1,000 naira, a bag of rice for over 100,000 naira. You can barely feed yourselves. A lot of you are dying from preventable diseases or the preventable sicknesses. Things that you could actually still live for. You are dying because you cannot afford it. Nigeria is now the poverty capital of the world. Nigeria is also one of the most terrorized people in the world. Thank you to those who claim to be your leaders. And they are not slowing down. They are not. Here, Dangote, part of the interview granted to Bloomberg yesterday. I don't know, they published it yesterday. I don't know if it was yesterday, right? Listen.
So the government wants to get rid of subsidies. Will your refinery help with that?
Well, the government, subsidy is a very sensitive issue. If, I believe the problem is not only the subsidy, it is problem that, once you are subsidizing something, then people will be blotting the numbers and government will end up paying what they are not supposed to be paying. But this, our refinery, will bring quite a lot of issues out there. It will show the real consumption of Nigeria. Because, nobody can tell you. Some people say it's 60 million liters of gasoline per day. Some say, no, it's less. But right now, if you look at it, by us producing, everything can be counted. Right. So everything can be accounted for. Most of the trucks or ships that will come and load from us, we are going to actually, put a tracker on them to be sure they are going to take the oil within Nigeria. And that, I think, can help the government to save quite a lot of money.
So do you think it's the right time to get rid of the subsidies?
I think it is, because all countries have actually gotten rid of subsidies. Let me give you an example. Saudi Arabia used to give what Saudis, the citizens, believe that, look, oil is our own God-given gift. So the government shouldn't charge us for it. So government were selling it at a very low price. But today, as we speak, gasoline is about 40% cheaper in Nigeria than in Saudi Arabia, which I think it doesn't make sense. That is one. Number two, our price of gasoline is about 60% of the price of our neighboring countries. And we have very porous borders. So it is not sustainable. The amount of subsidies that were paid, government cannot afford those subsidies.
So do you need the government to take away the subsidies for your refinery to be viable?
Well, you see, we have a choice of either when we produce, we export, and when we produce, we sell locally. But we're a private company. And yes, it's true, we have to make a profit. We build something worth $20 billion, so definitely we have to make money. The removal of subsidy is totally dependent on the government, not on us. We cannot change, price. But I think, the government will have to, give up something for something, So I think at the end of the day, the subsidy will have to go. But what we have done now, with the government, which I think okay, everybody, will adjust to it.
But you're not worried, Aliko, that some of the oil majors, because of their vast resources, can sell for cheaper?
Well, yes, most likely, because in business, I've said this in my interview before, where I said that I never knew that the oil industry mafia are stronger than the drug cartel. It's a big cartel. I will say this anywhere. The issue is that you are right. They can say, okay, fine. To make sure that this refinery doesn't work, we'll keep selling cheaper. But right now, they won't be able to sell cheaper because they will not be able to take local currency. We will take local currency. We have the refining capacity, not only to satisfy Nigeria, we have refining capacity that is almost twice the consumption of Nigeria.
But you're also confident that you can strike a deal with authorities?
No, we will. We'll definitely strike a deal. The president has announced
soon?
It's going to start 1st of October. So I think between now and the next couple of days, they will come out with a very, very clean agreement.
It's a pretty big accusation. So the government wants to.
Ìjọba èmi ló kàn yìí, ẹ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. Fear God. Let me give you a bit of a background. Dangote is a very dishonest businessman, a quota system billionaire. You see, that interview is part of his new media run to try to see if he could still get Tifnumbu to twist his arm and get his way, have his way. According to Tifnumbu, they've removed subsidy. However, that is a lie because they are still paying it. But here is what they did. NNPCL is the one authorized to import finished product to Nigeria. And they are also the ones to pay subsidy on the imported refined crude, okay? So after Tifnumbu became your president, NNPCL bought Ohando distribution channels, which means you see all those Ohando filling stations, NNPC bought them. Now you are supposed to be seeing every Ohando, they were supposed to turn to NNPC. Unfortunately, they remain as Ohando, okay? So which then means they imported the fuel, and the subsidy being paid is now being paid to Ohando, okay? Now, Ohando is owned by Deji Tifnumbu, who they said is Tifnumbu's cousin, all right? Between 1992, from 1992 and 2023, April, the total assets of Ohando and their subsidiaries, they put everything at maybe $7 million. Now, between May 2023 and May 2024, Ohando's assets grew to over $7 billion because Ohando, being part of the NNPC, is now the one collecting subsidy money. So indirectly, Tinubu is paying subsidy to himself through his cousin. In the last 1 year, their asset has grown astronomically for that deal alone. Instead of the money to belong, if you buy something, it becomes yours, Abi. How can you buy something and that thing becomes the owner of you? So Ohando is now the owner of NNPCL and their distribution. So Dangote knows that. Okay, that's why he's talking about the Cabal. So now what Dangote is now saying is that this subsidy you have been hearing, nobody inside the NNPC can tell you how much is the amount of fuel you are consuming every day. Somebody is just there and say, you know what? 50 million. That's how much people are using every day. Where is the proof? Don't worry, we are the ones in charge. We know what we are talking about. That's it. 50 million. Oh, it's 60 million. Oh, it's 80 million. There is no proof. There's no nothing. They just kind of write the figure and they roll the money out to themselves. So Dangote is now saying, for my own refinery, we have tracker. We can tell you how much fuel Nigerians are using. So if you stop importing fuel, we can tell you that it is 30 million. It is 50 million. So, and this is how much we want to sell it. So, for example, if you say landing cost, now you are buying it for how much? You are buying it for 1,000 naira, 9 something. If you say imported fuel is 1,100 per liter, but you don't want people to buy it for 1,300, so you pay subsidy on it. So if you now say how much subsidy are you paying, you say we are paying subsidy on 50 million liters. We are paying subsidy on 800 million liters. Here you get. There is no need for any proof. We'll just write the figure down. And they will release the money to their friends in Ohando. They will share the rest. But with Dangote, he can tell you how much they are refining and how much they are supplying the market. So they can easily tell you that we have a tracker, the whole Nigeria, they maybe use more than 30 million. But you see these 30 million liters a day, and we can only sell it for 1,050 naira. So if you, NNPCL, want to buy it for 1,050 naira, you can then go and sell it for 1,000. You can go and sell it for 900 naira. Abi? So you just pay me the subsidy. If you don't want me to sell it for 1,050 naira, the difference, let's say NNPCL says, oh, we can't sell, we want to sell it for 950. I say, well, you would have to pay me 100 naira on each liter. And this 100 naira you want to pay me is just for 30 million liters a day. Oh, it's for 400 million liters a month. Sure, you get that kind of thing. So if they do that, people that have been faking figure of subsidy and how much they are paying, they won't be able to do that anymore. So Dangote knows that the person that is collecting subsidy now is Tinubu indirectly. Because when Bokwari was paying subsidy and you were buying a liter of petrol for 167 naira to 190 naira, Bokwari was paying 420 billion naira every month on subsidy. Okay? And that is like 5 trillion or so. It's like 5 trillion naira a year. So when Tinubu came and told you subsidy was gone, a month after, Tinubu started paying himself over 900 billion naira every month for subsidy. And you are buying a liter of petrol for how much? 610 naira. Because they told you subsidy was gone. Do you see the difference? Tinubu was paying himself over 400 naira, over 450 naira per liter of petrol. Over 450 naira per liter. They are paying it to themselves. And they are not even paying it based on a verified figure. They were just manufacturing figure. Somebody can just come and say, how many liters of petrol? Are you wanting how much that? It's 600 million liter, Jare. 600 million. Okay. All right. Approved. How many liters to this month? It's 800 million. No. They say, hey, 800. Okay. Approved. So Dangote is now saying that if they play the game well, the subsidy can be gone for good. And this time around, even if people want to buy it for 1,200 naira per liter, you will know what you are buying and what you are paying for. That, the consumption in Nigeria is just 30 million, no, it's not 60 million, 70 million, no. So by so doing, if Numbu and his gang, they will not pay themselves subsidy anymore. So, and they don't even have to pay